Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. Get into some bite down boxing talk really quickly. Um, just taking a look at the big fight this weekend, this Saturday night on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter, you know the players. There's an article up right now on Boxing Scene from Keith Edick that has some statements or some comments from Shawn Porter in last Wednesday's Zoom conference. I don't believe what Shawn was referencing, and I think because he started doing his podcast, he's really become a part-time media figure for boxing. What's up, Latours? So you have to wonder what when he's wearing his media hat, his boxing media figure hat, and when he is talking appreciate you when he's really speaking as a fighter. And I just think he said in the comments that he made, he referenced Bud Crawford's fight against Jose Benavidez from like 3 years ago, Jose Benavidez Jr. And then he also talked about the Aegis Kavaliauskas fight where there was a knockdown that wasn't scored a knockdown for Mean Machine. I don't think he's looking at either. I don't think he's spending a whole lot of time on either one of those fights. And I think if he was to take much of that into consideration going into this fight, it would be useless. Bud is a much different guy now, and Bud is going to fight him much differently than what he would, than how he fought Benavidez or Kavaliauskas. And then Terence Porter doesn't fight like neither one of those guys. Maybe a similar frame in a way to Kavaliauskas a little bit, although I think he's shorter than Mean Machine. But this is just throwing. There you go. I don't believe he hits like they do. Yeah, there you go. I don't see those fights coming into play whatsoever Saturday night. So with that said, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't see any payoff in holding off my prediction until later in the week. My winner is Terence Crawford. Ultimately, how he gets there, I haven't quite pieced that together yet in my mind. How I see it playing out, but my winner is Terence Crawford. Back to that knockdown situation. People focus on knockdowns and talk about knockdowns like the knockdown is the end of the story. For me, what's more important is what happened after the knockdown. Should I sit here and make a big deal about the knockdown by Adrian Broner several years ago? Should I make a big deal about the knockdown against Errol Spence Jr.? Why would I? He got up from both situations and continued to fight. Matter of fact, he got pissed off after the knockdown to Errol Spence Jr. In contrast, when we looked at Caleb Plant get knocked down last week, his whole fight went to shit. He didn't do anything to try to become a dog, to try to make it through. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. So to sit here and argue that Bud was dropped and that to be your main talking point about Bud, he was dropped by Mean Machine. Were his legs wobbly? Did he back away? Did he get on his bike? Did he hold? Nah, he kind of dusted himself off. I mean, and that's kind of just like with Andre Ward getting knocked down by Sergey Kovalev. He was glassy-eyed and whatnot, but you got to be a good poker player in there. You got to have a good poker face. And I think both of these guys are experienced enough to weather those kind of situations. Whether it's scored accurately or not. So the other thing that I really, the reason why I don't have my how in this fight, how Crawford wins the fight, what I can't quantify is, if we're talking about old fights or last fight, I really can't quantify how Porter, how he looked against Sebastian Formella back in August of 2020 and goes 10 rounds with him, he probably swept the cards and whatnot. But he didn't really hurt Formella. He didn't beat him up. Obviously, he didn't stop him. So I'm trying to take away what is the change in Porter in the ring, getting ready for this type of challenge versus how he approached getting ready for Sebastian Formella. Knowing that Formella was kind of a nobody and, you know, not a lot of buzz for that fight. Matter of fact, I believe that was either the first, that might have been the first fight back for PBC in the pandemic. So that's what I just can't figure out is what to take away from the Formella fight. Stamina going to play a huge part in this fight. I'm leaning towards Bud. I think they both going to go hard though. Yeah, I told you in the text, you know, I said something, maybe a possible late stoppage. I think we could see something, you know, 5th through 7th round, because I think it could be the stakes that are on the line. I think, you know, Porter could bring out that type of fight in Crawford. I don't see Crawford really increasing his volume. I don't see him engaging with or fighting Shawn's fight the way that Errol Spence Jr. chose to fight Shawn's fight. I don't think he's going to run away or look to get any kind of space or stay outside or anything. I just think he might do some of the tactics that we saw with when he fought Jeff Horn, and maybe make it a more physical fight, banging around, some shoving and pushing. The main biker forearms, Black Popeye. Go on, man. I can't do nothing with you. How do you just target to lose weight in your forearms? But anyway, hey man, limit your wisecracks to your co-host, man. I ain't no co-host. You can't come at me like that on my thing. Anyway, though, I just think he might just roughhouse with Shawn Porter a little bit and not try to really not try to make it a slugging match the way that Spencer engaged with him. Oh, Spence. So, like I said, I got some things to figure out. The press conference is today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Top Rank's YouTube channel. So you'll get to see both guys on the stage. You know, probably a stare down. We'll see how they answer, how they respond to comments. Questions and whatnot, what statements they make. I probably won't read a whole lot into that because I think both of these guys are true professionals. Both guys are 34 years old. Tons of experience between each guy. They have a relationship outside of the ring. So I don't think it's going to be anything controversial or, you know, any kind of major headlines coming out of it. Right now, Bud is a 7-1 favorite, according to Caesars Sportsbook. I did go and see that there is some undercard. The undercard information had been available. I think so. I agree with that. The undercard is actually pretty dope in my opinion. You got Isaac Dogboe on there against Christopher Diaz. I think that's going to be a pretty good fight. Diaz is a tough guy. Has come up short a couple of times. Dogboe trying to work himself back into contention. I believe he's still working with Barry Hunter and kind of polishing up his boxing a little bit more. Not the power puncher that we initially thought he was, but a very, a determined fighter trying to work his way back to, you know, the buzz that he created for a minute. Also at 126 featherweight, Adam Lopez is on his card. I really like Lopez's game, but he doesn't always show up as focused as I would like him to be. But he's an excellent boxer when he's really focusing on his boxing. He's taking on Adon Ochoa. I think that'll be a pretty good match as well. I'm very excited to see the second fight with Top Rank for Carlos Balderas. He was over on PBC when he got upset by Renee Teller, I think is his name. But Balderas was definitely one to watch. I believe he's a former Olympian. Came over in his debut with Top Rank and got a big knockout a few months back. So they're keeping him busy and, see how he can rebound from that embarrassing loss, that he suffered before he left the PBC. And then also another Cleveland native, I believe he's out of, Delonte Tiger Johnson, is making his professional debut on this card. Some of that action will probably be on ESPN+. It's only going to be 4 fights on the pay-per-view. So probably two or, probably only, probably Dog Bay, the Lopez fight, and then the other dude that's fighting Endom. I don't know how to pronounce his name. All of that will probably be on the pay-per-view. But I want to see what Delonte Johnson does. I believe he's managed by Prince, one of his guys. Nah, I'm sorry. He's with Ricky Ross, I believe, is who he might be managed by. True story. But anyway, yeah, I haven't really got my winner yet. I want to see how the guys look on stage, how they interact with one another. Like I said, I don't see any kind of nastiness or any major mind games being played and whatnot. Just kind of straightforward answers. Porter being kind, like I said, being kind of a media guy now. He'll try to say some thoughtful stuff and give some great analysis and remind us that he's going to do some things to Terence Crawford that we haven't seen done to him yet. And he fully believes that he is the total package that Crawford hasn't faced to this point. And that's kind of the whole suspense in this fight is, there's questions about what Terence Crawford's resume with him being a 3-division champion, who has he really beat that really makes that all mean something versus just a bunch of accolades. So it's easy to stack up accolades in boxing if you get steered right. So that's kind of at the crux of this fight is, what is this dude really? And then on the other side, Porter's been in there with everybody, but really only beat the guys he kind of was supposed to beat. So that's that. Let me get on out of here, man. It's the end of my break. Then people going to be looking for me. Enjoy the press conference later on tonight. Tomorrow will be the Undercard press conference. Again, weigh-in Friday, final stare down, and then big action on Saturday. So, again, bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. All right, Latours, man. Thanks for rocking with me. Talking about my forearms, man. I'm sensitive about stuff like that. I'm out, man. Peace.